had a great question about how to solve, or rather how to simplify this expression. So what we've got here is 10x cubed on 5x squared. And really what that means, of course, is another way of writing it would be 10x times x over 5x times x. So you could actually solve this simply by saying, well, x divided by x is 1, and x divided by x is another 1, and 5 goes into 10 twice. So let's write what we've got left now. So that we resolve that, we got a 2. So 2, and we're left with 1x, there it is. So there is our solution. Another way we could do this is to say, well, I'm going to rewrite that. So 10x cubed on 5x squared. Now, let's have another look at doing this slightly differently. All right, well, let's start with the coefficients and say, well, what's common to 10 and 5? Well, 5 is. So I'm going to divide the top by 5, I get 2. I'm going to divide the bottom by 5, I get 1. So I've got 2 on 1. So 2 on 1. Now I've got an x cubed and an x squared. Well, when I've got the same base, and we have got the same base, I can just subtract the powers. So really I've got 2x3 minus 2. So that's going to equal 2x3 minus 2 is 1. I could write a 1 there. All over 1. Well, I don't need to write the ones, so I could just leave that as being 2x as an answer. And that's my solution. So whichever way you decide to do it, it doesn't really matter as long as you show some kind of working. So for me personally, I just like to think of this as being, for me I'd go 10x cubed 5x squared. And for me I would go, well, I've got 3 on top and 2 underneath. Well, 3 minus 2 is 1. So I'm left with 1, and the 1's going to be on top because that's the biggest one. If the 3 was on the bottom and the 2 was on top, well, then the remaining x would be left on the bottom. So 5 goes into 10 twice. X to the 3 minus the 2 is just x. And there is my solution. Do show some stuff working, but there's just a few different ways of thinking about the same thing.